Okay, so I wanted to show you guys something. When you right click on a sheet tab, I wanted to just get rid of this. I wanted to delete this sheet, just start with a clean slate. So you right click on a sheet tab and you get a whole bunch of commands. You can name the sheet, which is kind of nice. Sometimes you want to do that to stay organized. You can delete the sheet, you can move it, etc. There's another way to move it, by the way. I'll show you that right now. Do you want to continue? Yeah, I just wanted to start over. Here's sheet 5. You can move it this way. Just grab it, click and drag. So now it's before sheet 2. So I'm going to put some data in there. I'm going to pause the video for just a second to do that. Okay, I'm back. And first thing I wanted to do is show you something. It's called auto sum right up here. Excel tries to guess what you want to sum up. I want to sum those 3 up. That is the command I would issue. And come on, you silly thing. Okay. Okay, let's just get rid of this again. Auto sum. How come it doesn't auto sum? Auto sum. There it is. It wants to auto sum. What's happening is I'm doing a right arrow and it thinks I want to go to the next cell when I really just want to move around within the formula. So it's auto summing these 3 cells. It guesses that it wants to take the sum of these 3. And this is what you type. If you were to type it, you would type this. You would type the equals sum, open parentheses, the range you're interested in, and then close parentheses. And you can keep adding numbers. This little hint down here tells you can keep adding numbers. So there. Now, in the previous video, we talked about order preference. In a previous video, we also talked about cell names. We can name this, for example, screws. This is our name box. It's also a formula search box. If I type equal over here, it does a double purpose. It pops up formulas. It says, I'm starting a formula, and it says, okay, here are the options. Otherwise, it lets me name the cells. And like I said, most people don't really use this very much, use this feature very much. It might make something a little more readable. But to somebody who's experienced with Excel, the cell references are what they need. But you can write formulas this way also. Okay. So that's a feature probably used as a beginner, not much after that. Once you get experience with Excel, you probably won't. We've seen functions. There's a lot of functions Excel has. We've seen some of them. I showed that earlier. Doesn't hurt to show it again. These are the ones we've used most recently. And you can see, and we'll go through, there's financial, there's logical. So and, or is in there. If statement, which we'll get to later, is in there. If error, if you want to trap an error, this is a good one. Remember I showed you ways that you can do an error? Well, you can find out if something has an error in it, and if it does, what are you going to return? What are you going to tell the rest of the program? And so forth. So that's logical. Information, is it blank? Is there an error? Things like that. Financial, amortization, thing, which you probably won't. Date and time, which could be useful. What's the day? What's the month? Day. Day of the month. Days. Number of days between 2 days. That can be useful. Math and trig, we've already seen that. So cosine, cotangent, logarithm, things like that. These are matrix operations. Matrix operations are kind of hard in Excel. So we're going to study a little bit of MATLAB at the very end. Statistical. So you can get things. You can find values within a list. Look up and reference. Database, which we won't even get into. Text functions, concatenate is one of them in there, which is the and sign, if you remember. And find and exact length of a string, a text string, and so forth. Lower, change everything to lowercase. Upper, change everything to uppercase. So this allows you to search for functions. Don't forget Google. Don't forget the help. Okay, I'm going to cancel that. We've already gone through the radians. Watch out for trig functions because they want their arguments in radians. In the last video we showed that. Okay, save and return. Let's save this thing up and show how to get it back. So, Control S. Let's see. This is book 1. That means it's untitled so far. Save. And let's just put it in the desktop. I'm going to save it as example book. Now, I could close Excel all the way. There's actually a better way to do it. If you want to leave the program itself open, but you don't want to, you want Excel to keep running, just so you don't have to boot it up again. You can just close the file. That's what this does. And it gives you just a blankness. There, nothingness in the Excel spreadsheet. File open. By the way, you have file new too, to start one from scratch, brand new. Let's go ahead and browse, because you get the mini browser. I could just click this, get my most recent example. But, oh, there's the desktop. Here's my example book. Voila, comes back, which is kind of nice in a way. Oops, there we go. Ooh, I wanted to reduce it a bit. I didn't want it that big. There we go. Okay, File tab, by the way. The tab you go find this stuff. The tab where you go find help. Same tab you find help is your opens and closes and saves. You can save it as an Adobe PDF, print it, export it, which we're going to find out about later. Printing. Let's find out about printing. We're going to need to know that stuff. So let's print. So it's fine. So it's got my local printer. You can print to PDF, which can be kind of nice. Wake up. PDF. There it is. When you print a PDF, it saves it as a file, but it's like it acts like it's printing out to a real printer. Now, you've got some page setup options. You can print several sheets, things like that, orientation or landscape or portrait. I'm changing it to landscape. There's landscape, letter size, and so forth, which are things you're probably used to printing. Scaling, you can do it at your actual size. You can fit all columns on one page. So it's one page wide, maybe many rows, all rows on one page. So all the rows fit on a page, but it could be several columns wide. The reason you might want to do that is so that you have so that you shrink it to fit all the columns, but then you have several pages that you might be printing. Or you can try to fit everything on one page. And of course, no scaling is just no scaling. Page setup. This is good stuff here. You can do it by percentage, size, set up margins, sheet. Let's go here. This can be cool because you can change the grid lines. Okay. I want to see the grid lines. And when I do that, here comes the grid lines. Sheet. To make sure that if you want to make sure I can see row and column headings, you can do it like this. Now, most of the time when I see your sheets, I can figure things out. But I'm familiar enough with Excel to do that. But if you really want to show people, well, this is column A and this is column B, like you'd see in the regular this, A, B. Okay. There. Did I? Oh, good, good. So to show the column headings, that's a good thing. Black and white, draft quality, so that you save printer ink on a PDF, you don't have to worry about it. Page order. So if you have many pages you're printing, it goes down. The default is down. It goes to the next set of rows. But if you say, okay, I want to see the columns first. I want to print out the first page is the upper left. The second page is the same rows, but over to the right. And the third page is the same rows, but over to the right some more. And then at some point, you start another set of rows. I want to print that way, just the order I want my stuff to come out. Most of the time, you don't have to worry about that. These two can be kind of important, row and column headings and grid lines, so that it makes your spreadsheet more readable when you print it out. Okay, and remember we went to page setup? That's all for chapter 2. We'll go ahead and end chapter 2 up here and pick up chapter 3 next time.